Pheasant's been here since 1949, and it opened as a small gas station cafe. We were out on the outskirts of town, kind of surrounded by prairie grass and farmland. And my grandparents bought it in 1966. They didn't continue the gas station, they added seating, and my grandmother is still the owner today. It's our 75th anniversary, actually. I just kind of grew up here running around, and at some point in my life, I was like, I'm going to go to college for art. I'm going to work in developmental disabilities, and I'm never going to work in a restaurant again. And some years passed, and it kind of gets in your blood. So my grandfather was thinking about selling the place, retiring, and I said, don't do that. He agreed, and he said, well, does that mean I can go to Hawaii this winter? And I said, yep. And so while he was gone, I was writing the menus and scraping popcorn ceilings and painting and doing some updates and kind of reinvesting in the place. The early history of pheasant actually being served in the restaurant is a little fuzzy. That was before my family's time here. There were some occasions, since we've been involved, but in the old days, some places would allow you to bring in your hunted meat and cook it for your own guests for your table. And there were a few things like that happening. And then at some point, it was just like, you can't really serve the public meat with buckshot in it. And your meats have to be USDA inspected. And so we just went a long time without any pheasant on the menu. The first year of the Brookings culinary competition, which was held downtown then, Taste of Brookings, we decided we needed to do something with pheasant. So we searched around and we found a source for it, and we came up with this pheasant salad sandwich that's currently on our menu. And we just sort of leaned into all the different creative pheasant salad recipes that different hunters and families with hunters used, and some of our own, and we played with it. And of course we won the culinary competition with it that year. And then the community just were like, put that on the menu, please, could you put that on the menu? And that was, I don't know, maybe like 15 years ago or so, and it's just been kind of a favorite ever since. So of course we can't give away the recipe, but some stuff in it. There's some dried fruits in it, some cranberries, some nuts, little green onion and sesame to sort of lean into the Chinese origins of the pheasant. And then of course it has mayo in it, but we really like to cut that with some fresh extra virgin olive oil. So it has lots of vegetables, fruits, fresh apples, things like that. And then the leaner meat, cutting the mayo out with the olive oil, so it becomes something a lot healthier than probably the old sort of like mayo everything to death versions of things that we were eating in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, maybe into the 80s. And then also we do like a pheasant on the green, which is a mixed green salad with tomatoes and onions and croutons and Parmesan cheese. And then the pheasant meat salad on top of that with our herbs de Provence infused olive oil and fresh red apple balsamic. So that all comes together really nice. And then the pheasant salad sandwich is actually kind of like a melt. So we do like a marbled rye toasted with some Swiss cheese, and then the pheasant meat salad on it. Within one batch, there's about 6 pounds of pheasant, and we make that like twice a week, maybe more if it's a busy weekend coming up or a local event, or a party requests it on their menu or something like that. I wouldn't say that pheasant is particularly gamey. I mean, I suppose sometimes when you're hunting pheasant it can be, but it is just a little richer, leaner. It's kind of a drier meat if you're not careful with how you prepare it. So it's conducive to certain recipes and certain things. But a lot of the families around here have cooked it for so long that they all kind of have their tips and tricks and their own home recipes. Not too many years ago, Gordon Ramsay walked in the front door, and so that got a lot of press, especially since we kept him happy and kept him in a good mood the whole time he was here, while I was back in the kitchen, probably acting like a Gordon Ramsay. But then after that, we got some attention from O Magazine a couple times, and some other publications, and Zagat Guide, and lots of online acclaim. And a lot of it has really focused on our pheasant salad sandwich. And then just recently, we were notified that we won a James Beard America's Classics Award for the Midwest. And they mentioned a lot of our old-time, mid-century classics, things that have stayed on the menu for the 75 years that we've been open, or for a large part of that, in addition to our sort of, innovative flair. So at home, I would say just make good friends with a hunter or get a hunting license. But there are some places you can get pheasant from flyways or people that raise them to be released. They might sell it to you. There might be some butchers that sell the prepared meat or frozen. And then there are also some online sources where you can have it shipped to yourself. So it's kind of like there's this interest with what's going on in sort of like our part of the country, because people don't know, what we're eating that's unique here. And it would be really easy for the next generation to not carry on those traditions and for those to completely die before it ever really is like well documented, or, things sort of fade into obscurity. And we have lots of fun and interesting foods in this part of the country.